So as we mentioned earlier in the show, something you probably already noticed if you've gone shopping, global supply chains are facing some serious delays and disruptions due to the pandemic and worker shortages. So later today, President Biden will be meeting virtually with officials and leaders to discuss efforts to relieve these transportation nightmares. Meanwhile, Congress has officially avoided a national default, at least for now. Yesterday, the House approved a short-term measure to raise the debt ceiling until December. Weijia Jiang is here to discuss all of this with us. So Weijia, I'm really glad that you are here to talk about this. I've been wanting to talk about the supply chain issues because if you want a plastic straw, I couldn't find Lunchables for my daughter. If you want to buy a new car, good luck. I mean, these supply chain hiccups have pretty much impacted every aspect of our life. So President Biden is meeting virtually with senior officials and stakeholders to address the global supply chain issues. Who will be at the meeting? What are some of the measures they will be discussing to help relieve this issue?
So the president is meeting with several different stakeholders and companies and associations that all have something to lose here. And if you look at the participants, everyone from Walmart to Target to UPS to FedEx to the Trucking Association to the Chamber of Commerce, you can see sort of the line that this is impacting and how the problem on the water is trickling down. So as you mentioned, all those things that we can't seem to get our hands on, they're stuck in these ports because the ships that are transporting these goods have nowhere to go because there is such a traffic jam. But the White House has made clear they're really just going to be an honest broker to try to help everybody out here, but they're not going to implement any new federal policies or anything like that because they believe this is a private sector issue. Of course, the government has a stake in this as well because the president is trying to resuscitate the economy, and if all that stuff remains in the water and not on shelves, that prices for everything will continue to go up, which is what we are seeing across the board. No shortage here at the White House of lawn care, though, which is a good thing.
Clearly not. I feel like that's the closest they've ever come to you. I feel like they were trolling you a little there.
Like, yeah. They see I'm here, and they want to pay me and you and all of our viewers a visit, which is very nice. But in all seriousness, again, this is really an opportunity today for the president to have conversations to see if there's anything they can do to help facilitate what's happening. But it's hard to tell when the problem will actually clear up because we heard from one expert who said in the past 6 months, the number of containers is actually going down, but the congestion is going up because that's how badly things are backed up.
Yeah, I was just reading, and I'm going to look over because I don't want to get this wrong, that container freight rates have gone up 351%. So all of that, companies are not going to pay for. They're going to pass that expense on to us eventually. And yeah, that makes for, very unhappy people. And they look to the president to say, I thought you were going to fix the economy. What's going on?
Exactly.
So let me ask you about something else, speaking of the economy. Yesterday, the House approved the short-term extension to raise the debt ceiling. We knew that was going to happen. The president has to sign it then. The only thing is that, there were no Republicans in the House that voted in favor of this. And I suppose that is an indication, perhaps, Weijia, of the fight that will happen in December when this comes back up again?
Well, the fight is going to be in the Senate because, Democrats have a good majority in the House. So they don't really need Republicans to pass the measure. It was Senate Republicans that initially refused even to come on board with this short-term bill that would help the country avoid defaulting its debts until December. But that is a short-term fix. They're going to have to start right back from scratch in just about 2 months. And Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has already said, look, we're not going to do it again next time. And that he is very resistant to increasing the debt ceiling for the long term. So that's really where the problem is going to come in, because they're going to have to do something when this short-term bill expires then. At the same time, they're going to have to be working to avoid a government shutdown. So it's going to be a very busy few months, here in Washington. But it doesn't seem like they're going to budge, because McConnell has made so clear. His argument is that, if you raise the debt ceiling, Democrats will continue what he calls reckless spending, when, Democrats push back right away to say the reason they need this additional figures to raise the debt is because of all the spending that Republicans have already done in the past.
Now, before I let you go, I want to ask you about the G20 virtual summit. Leaders met to talk about the situation in Afghanistan. What can be done to avoid a humanitarian and economic crisis there, while, also avoiding interacting officially with the Taliban government there? So I want to know, what did they talk about? What did they hammer out? And I'm really curious about Russia and China's involvement, because these were the two countries that, while the withdrawal was happening, were sort of, criticizing the U.S. And I even think, I'm not sure, no, I don't want to talk about whether or not China kept an embassy there, but they were more critical, more overtly critical of the U.S. decision to pull out than any other country. So I'm wondering what their role will be as well.
Well, sources tell CBS News that China's Xi Jinping did not actually dial into the call. And it's unclear if Putin did as well, but we do not believe he did. And the White House talked about this and said, despite that, it was still a productive meeting, because, world leaders were able to get together and talk about the very things that you just mentioned. The top of the agenda, of course, being security and recommitting humanitarian aid to the Afghan civilians, which they did. And, this was a virtual summit. The president participated for just about an hour, but really it was just to begin the dialogue, because, of course, in person, all of these leaders are going to meet in Rome at the end of the month. And, of course, the conversation will continue there. But they did talk about security, the threat of ISIS-K, humanitarian aid, and making sure they hold the Taliban accountable for the promises that they've made to help people who are still there get out if they want to.
Right. All right, Weijia, we're going to talk to you again later on, I think in our 9 o'clock hour, and we'll keep up this conversation. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks.